thanks for doing this with Pop Scoop today.
No problem.
Firstly, I'll take you right back to the beginning. How did you get into music itself?
How did I get into music? Well, when I was about 6 or so, like my dad bought myself and my brother both this little tiny Casio keyboard, like 20 quid for Margos or something. And I think my brother sort of played on it once and then shoved it to one side, and I sort of carried on trying to learn to play it and I used to try and make copy things off the TV and stuff to play, and then he taught me to play chopsticks and stuff. And then about a year later they bought me a karaoke machine, so at that point that was the end of the 80s, so the karaoke machine was about this big. It was massive, with a little plastic microphone, and I learned the songs off there. I think it was Sailing and Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. And I learned them back to front, and so that was about age 6 or 7. And then I kind of did that for I carried on sort of trying to pick things up and sing, play and stuff. And then when I was about 10, I went into we were on holiday in Cornwall, and they had the week's talent show, and I decided I'd have a go and go in for it, and ended up winning it, although it was very little, but ended up winning it, and yeah, I really kind of got into singing from there really. My mum and dad, they'd give me some singing lessons and then some keyboard lessons from that as well. And it kind of went from there. And then when I was 13, I started singing professionally in pubs and stuff.
So that's always been a part of your life, and
it's kind of that's all I've ever done really. It's kind of I've never done anything else. So.
What was it that made you choose The Voice over obviously the other music shows that are out there?
When The Voice came along, a friend told me about it and said oh, you have to go for this show, look what it's about and all of this. So I just sort of looked it up online and just liked the whole thing, what it was about really. And that's so so I think initially you just had to fill out your email address and click submit, so I was like, oh, I can do that. And then the audition comes through, and I didn't tell anybody that I was doing it. I kept it secret from everyone, and that because I was I didn't want to tempt fate or anything like that. I thought I'll just see it. If I don't get through, then no one will have to know. Because I've never really had to audition, or not had to audition. I've never really auditioned. Kind of always had a job working as a singer. So it was quite a big step for me in that, to go and do something like that. So yeah, and then the rest sort of went from there. You didn't really expect a lot, get anywhere, and that was it.
So how did it feel when obviously you won The Voice? Was it a sense of relief or achievement? What was it?
It was just utter shock. It really was I honestly never ever went into it thinking, I never thought of it it's a TV show, it's going to be on the telly, let alone what happens if you get to the live shows, or what happens if you get to the final and win. So it was just such shock, I feel like I'm a broken record just saying that, but it just really was. But it was a good shock as well. It definitely, it took a while for me to get my head around it, that is it now. My life, my career has kind of changed now, and it took a tumble. It's just been really cool.
Did you feel like everything in your life had come together at that one moment when they revealed it? Do you think everything you had worked so hard for is finally...
It's funny because at the exact time it happened, it's really surreal, and I know my reaction to winning was probably the worst ever of a TV talent show, and that, but it was obviously because I was like, what? And that not expecting it at all. But it definitely, I mean, don't get me wrong, it felt good, and that, but it also felt very oh God, now I've really got to prove myself. If I'm the winner, I've got to prove myself as being the winner. So it was I don't know, I kind of think like that a little bit. I don't really allow myself to start thinking, oh brilliant, I've made it, because I don't feel like I have yet. I feel like I've now got another step to take.
Another chapter to go.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot of the judges on there are massive artists themselves. How was it to work with Sir Tom Jones so closely?
It was brilliant working with Tom. He's everything. I think I've called him a legend now probably about 1,000,001 times, and he really is. Like, he's just a real gentleman. He's lovely. He's charming. He's definitely somebody that you definitely look up to and stuff. But he's also very down to earth. Like, you would maybe expect him to be like a diva or demanding, and he's just not. He sort of like just sits there and he's happy just to listen and watch.
Just calming.
Yeah,
was he a calming influence, would you say?
Yeah, he was actually. He was a really nice man.
Do you still keep in contact regularly with him?
I haven't spoken to him recently, and that because I think he's literally just got back to America. Because as soon as the show finished, he went straight on tour, and then he lives over there. So, and he's been touring over there as well. So, but I hope to see him soon.
So the new album's out now. What was it like to make it? Was there any messages you was trying to get across through the songs on the album?
I think the album is quite diverse actually. I think there's probably quite a few different messages and stories and stuff in there. The lead track, Pride, the one that's being played on Radio 2 at the moment, that song is obviously in the title. It's about being proud, about standing your ground, about being who you are and sticking to it and not letting anybody change, make otherwise and stuff. So I guess that's probably a pretty strong message sending out there, and that's just about trying to always remember who you are and not let anybody change it.
Would you say that's the song you feel most strongly about on the album, or is there any other ones in particular on there that
No, there's so many different songs in there that I really love. There's another song called Walk the Front, and that's really a sort of emotional ballad. Like, it's very lyrical and it's sort of it's got a real deep emotional side to it. I think that's I think that is that could be pushed out with my strong message as well.
Brilliant. Can you tell us and your fans about any up and coming tours, concerts that you might be doing?
Well, at the moment we're just completely focusing on this album and promoting that as much as we can. And yesterday, Sunday, I did Birmingham Pride, and which was really good to sing Pride at Pride. So I'm hoping that I'll get to do some more of their events, because they're really cool. And we'll see from there. I'd love to do some sort of tour or something after this, but we'll see.
Just taking it step by step.
Yeah.
What would it mean to you then if the album did go to number one?
I think I'd be as shocked as I was. I would love it to do well, and I think at the moment now is just getting it out there and letting people hear it, because so far I've actually had some really nice reviews on it and stuff, and that's really good to hear, because you do worry and think, is it good enough? But hopefully
I was about to say,
the world if it did well.
Because I see on Twitter there's quite a few links to 5-star reviews of the album already.
Yeah.
How does that feel to receive such positive feedback?
Yeah, I'm really chuffed that like the people that have had reviews I haven't had anything bad yet, so I'm like really surprised, unless maybe they don't send the bad ones to me. But I just hope more people hear it now and see what they think, because so far it's been really good. So.
That's Twitter nowadays. I see you obviously on Twitter, follow you on Twitter. What do you think of Twitter in terms of how it lets you interact with your fans, and is it something you really like doing?
Yeah, I think it's a great way to interact with people, and that definitely, and that it's really nice, like, because you get so many lovely comments that on there and stuff, and you don't want them to think that you ignore them or anything like that. So I always answer everybody and try to, and that it's a real nice way to speak to people directly.
Are you watching this year's The Voice?
Yes, I am.
And is there anyone that stands out particularly for you, and would you have any advice for the contestants?
There's a few actually. There's a guy called Ash Morgan that I think is really good. And there's one on this weekend. Is it this weekend, Joseph, his name?
Yeah.
Is he Filipino?
Yeah,
I think he's got an amazing voice. And there's a guy called Matt Henry, the one that looks like Will I Am. I think he's really good. Yeah, I think they've got some real strong boys in this year actually.
I think a lot of people like The Voice because it solely is about the voice, and I think it's not so many sob stories as you would get on other ones. Would you say it was a lot easier to go into?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really got like this big sob story anyway that I could say, feel sorry for me. And to be honest, I wouldn't want people to feel sorry for me. Everybody's got history. Everyone's got stuff that they could tell to get some sympathy in that. But I'm not about that. I wouldn't want to do that. And I think a lot of people on that show probably, each to their own, and that, but a lot of people probably, they just want, hopefully I want them for the right reason.
And if you could send out one last message to your fans about the album, what would you say?
Just listen to it. At least you can preview it on iTunes, you can obviously buy it on Amazon, you can get it in the shops in HMV, and just have a listen to it and see what you think. Give it a try, and that, like, I've written this album, and that I haven't done covers, I haven't popped it out as some people might maybe have even expected me to, and that I've spent a long time on it, so give it a listen, see what you think.
So you mentioned that you've written it. Would you say then that more work has gone into that, obviously through yourself, but it allows you to express yourself as an artist?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I first met Brian Rawlings, who was the producer for the album, he was like, what sort of album do you want to make? And I was like, well, I know what I don't want to make. And he was like, what? I want a covers album. I don't. For my first album, this could be my only chance to ever do this, and I hope it's not, but it could be, and I want to make this, do something the best I can. So.
And last question, one that I ask people when I interview them, is if you could collaborate with an artist from the past and one from the present, who would you like to do that with?
From the past and present. Well, I haven't already sung with Tom. That was a pretty special one, and I'd love to do that again actually. From the past, so many. Like if you go back to the 50s and 60s, like the singers that were out, and that just loads of people like Aretha Franklin, Etta James, loads of people, and as for present, I don't know, let's do it with Tom again.